Hello there. Welcome to this presentation by CDM Stravitec, a structural acoustics and vibration isolation technology company. In this presentation, we'll be talking about a practical case of optimization of floating floors to accommodate both structural loads during construction and acoustical performance during operations. My name is Alfredo, and I'll be guiding you through this presentation. After over 24 years of experience in the field of noise and vibration, a simple floating floor can bring challenge. This one was one of those cases. The project itself is 45 Strachan Avenue in downtown Toronto, a 39-story mixed-use building. But before we continue, at CDM Stravitec, we believe in sharing knowledge, communicating clearly, and relying on each other's talents to achieve the best results. So before I go any further, I'd like to thank all the stakeholders who were part of this project and design and make it a success. The acoustic consultant, HGC Engineering, the structural engineer, RJC Engineering, the architect, Ariri Pontorini Architects, and the general contractor, Elizon. Thank you very much. The room in question was the elevator machine room, located on the top floor of the building. The room houses 4 elevators, associated motors, and control equipment. The project's main priority was to control noise and vibration from the elevator's operation and ensure that no structure-borne noise would be heard in residential units in lower levels. As such, the design intent was to create an isolated floating floor to support the entirety of the equipment. The main requirements for the project during the operation stage are presented in this slide. It is a 200mm concrete floating slab, 8 inches. The equipment loads are small, 815 pounds. The equipment reaction loads are quite larger, about 12,000 pounds per location, with a total weight of approximately 45,000 pounds per elevator, and a live load, of course, 100 psf. The resonance frequency just under 8 Hz. Based on these requirements, a Stravifloor mount was specified and proposed for this room. The system is reasonably well known and is used in many projects to isolate noise from mechanical rooms in high-rise residential buildings. The system itself, the Stravifloor mount, is known for its flexibility. It provides good acoustical performance while keeping the flexibility in terms of isolators to support extra loads as needed. And now comes the question that you may wonder. If it is such flexible and it is such a great system, why the challenge? Well, the challenge did not come from using the Stravifloor mount as it is designed for and intended for, the operating phase. The challenge comes during the construction phase. Here you see a planned room, a square room with 4 concrete sides, walls, and a corridor as an access point. The points in green in this slide represent the locations for support of the temporary load during construction of the roof slab. For all its flexibility, it came down to a single challenge. The room size and access required that all equipment be craned and dropped directly on top of the floating slab before the roof slab is in place. And for all its flexibility, with temporary shoring loads, one of 2 situations would occur. You either consider the shoring loads as part of the engineering of the floating floor and add stiffness to your floor to support those loads, therefore compromising the acoustical performance of the floor, or you optimize for the acoustical performance, and the system may be compromised structurally, and it may not be able to support temporary load conditions during roof slab construction. Too much of differential deflections. So we got right to work to find a solution. We explored different options. Considering that compromising the system's acoustical performance would have longer lasting effects, increasing the stiffness was not an option. We considered that potentially these loads could be distributed for a larger area by adding load distribution beams to support the shoring posts on top of the floating slab. This would be an easy solution, but the limited available space and difficulty of removing such beams after construction made it difficult to implement. The final solution we came up with would be to convert the system from a Stravifloor mount into a Jackup system like the Stravifloor Jackup-R and Jackup-E. The advantage of those systems is that we could leave the slab unlifted until after shoring is removed, meaning you'd be bearing the loads directly on the structural slab. And then after being jacked up, once the construction phase is finished, you would have a floating floor. But the issue here continues to be the limited amount of floor space, the amount of equipment conflicts, making it impossible and easy to jack up the floating floor. And it's at these moments that our strong values like think different and raising the bar come into play. Our team is encouraged to raise questions and find new ideas, considering that innovation and quality are a work in progress, and there's always room for something different. And so we did. This is when we thought a bit more about our Stravifloor Jackup-E elements. They are designed to fit in floating floors as thin as 85 millimeters, and with load capacities of up to 11 kilonewtons per loading point, and design capacities of the housing up to 4 times that value, it's a good example of adding features to existing solutions. The main elements of a Stravifloor Jackup-E, as you can see here, is the cast iron housing that will be in the floating slab, the isolator pad, and the Jackup bolt, 3 elements alone. The extension of the housing allows us to create floating slabs and access point to the housing itself for jackup, up to 200 millimeters or more. And this gave us an idea. Why don't we keep the Stravifloor mount designed for the operating stage, allow us to keep the acoustical performance intact, but add the Jackup-E housing as the direct structural support to transferring the shoring post loads to the structural slab through the floating slab during construction phase. The Stravifloor Jackup-E housing would be encased in the floating slab, and the bolt would drive down to the structural slab. In this scenario, the isolator was removed. Once the construction phase was completed, the bolt would be removed. Therefore, you're left with a floating slab. We've come to nickname this solution as a kickstand, as it clearly exemplifies the objective of the hybrid solution. In terms of installation sequence, it's quite simple. Steps 1 and 2, you install your standard Stravifloor mount system, paying special attention to adding those extra isolators where the larger loads are from equipment would be expected. And you can see those in that image, that grouping of isolator where the elevator machines are going to be landing. Where the Stravifloor Jackup-E bolt was to reach the structural slab, small load distribution seal plates were placed on the structural slab to protect it from the shoring loads and the bolt itself. Step 3, we installed the Jackup-E mount on top of the formwork of the floating floor, ensuring that they were aligned with the steel plates underneath and properly secure in place, so that they don't shift during placement of rebar and concrete. Step 4, the concrete floating slab was poured. Once this was done and the slab was cured, step 5 came in. We went back and placed the bolts into position, locking the floating slab and allowing at that point for the loads, temporary, to be transferred through the bolts rather than the isolators. You can see in step 5 and 6, bottom row, left and center, the shoring posts are installed, formwork were placed, and the roof slab poured. Finally, once all the formwork and shoring posts are removed, the bolts on the Jackup-E were removed from the housing, and a floating slab is now acting as such. Here are some pictures of this installation. ready for pouring just before pouring of the floating slab concrete. On the pictures, you can see that the housings for the Jackup-E are kind of grouped up in groups of 4, and that's on purpose. At the center of each group of 4, you will have a shoring post. This was used to distribute the loads even better. This project is a good example that even when a solution is well known, there may be a case where the standard solution does not fit the requirements of the project. It is no longer a one-size-fits-all. Projects nowadays are multidimensional, meaning that the requirements are sometimes opposed to each other. In this one, the requirements for the construction stage versus the requirements of the operating stage. The need to support high temporary structural loads versus the need to protect the building from noise and vibration during use. It was the strong partnership between CDM Stravitec and all the stakeholders that made this application a success, balancing conflicting requirements without compromise. What truly keeps us energized is our commitment to every project, bringing dedicated energy, expertise, and passion for solving complex structural acoustics and vibration challenges. By integrating our in-house structural acoustics know-how, we just don't deliver solutions. We create them with the drive that sets us apart. I hope you enjoyed our presentation today. Feel free to reach out. Thank you very much for watching.